Hi guys and welcome back again to the Tech YouTube channel. You are all pretty much familiar with the Swiss manufacturer called Arctic, which are mostly known for, not for their cheese, but for their value-oriented cooling products, and today we're going to check out if we have yet another winner in our hands with their brand new Freezer i32 CPU cooler. Right below that product name you can notice that this model only supports newer Intel sockets, while for AMD support you'll have to buy an A version of this cooler, the i32. This is something for which is Arctic sorta known for, separating AMD's and Intel socket into two different models, probably so they can bring you a less expensive product. Going around the box you will come across on some technical details and specifications for the product, some talk about main features of course, one of which is that this model supports an improved and interesting fan control design. Because of it, this CPU cooler actually comes in as a semi-passive solution, as it brings the Arctic's 120mm fan, which is designed to completely switch off if the BIOS of the motherboard is sending a PWM signal below 40%. As you'll see later on, this results in a dead silent cooler while in idle. Opening up the box, you'll get your usual type of CPU cooler unboxing experience. Here we have a back panel bracket as a part of the 1150X socket cooler installation, a user manual for the cooler installation, fan clips and holding brackets for the cooler, (120mm fan), some additional material talking about the semi-passive mode, a small bag with screws and thermal paste, and of course the cooler tower itself. As you can see, the i32 supports a pretty standard looking design, combining decently dense aluminum fins, which are formed into a 150mm tall single tower type of CPU cooler. Taking a closer look, you can see that running through it from top to bottom we have a total of 4 6mm copper heat pipes. On that bottom part those heat pipes are flattened out, and as such they are in direct contact with the CPU heat spreader and playing a role of the usual CPU base for the cooler. Speaking of the CPU base, the finish isn't amongst shinier, but it will get the job done. The CPU base surface of the cooler is not that big compared to some of the larger CPU models out there, and the reason why we are even telling you this, as it doesn't cover the whole surface of an X99 CPU, like ours Core i7-5960X, which we used for the testing. That's actually not a problem, as the CPU die itself is almost half the size of the CPU heat spreader, and it's located right in the middle where the base of the cooler sits, so the heat transfer is optimal. Installation process was very easy and straightforward, especially since we did it on an LGA 2011 V3 socket, which has its own backplate, so you don't have to fiddle around with that at all. All you need to do is install the holding bracket onto the cooler, apply some thermal paste, screw the cooler down, finish it up with the fan, and that's it. Everything done in 5 minutes. As you saw, we didn't remove the RAM, as there is enough space for installation even with them on the motherboard. The overall clearance is very good, being it either in regards of the first PCI Express slot or the RAM. Taking a look at the performance of the cooler, we were pleased with the results, especially when you bear in mind that the Core i7-5960X outputs a TDP of around 140 watts. In idle the fans were completely off, with temperatures moving around from high 20 to mid 30 degrees Celsius. Under the i32 system stability test load, we were seeing temperatures ranging from 60 to 70 degrees Celsius, which was pretty decent, while on the other hand, Prime 95 small FFT test had the cores going well over 80 degrees Celsius mark. Putting some overclocking in the mix, 4.5 GHz with 1.37 to 1.35 core voltage proved to be a little too much to handle for the Arctic's i32 model. You can see here that in IDA's system stability test we've experienced CPU overheating and throttling, while we didn't even try to run the Prime 95. On the other hand, even at those kind of loads and fan running almost at full speed, the cooler was still very quiet. Thank you guys once again for checking out our unboxing and review of the Arctic's Freezer i32 CPU cooler. Feel free to give us a thumbs up if you like this video, leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the product, and of course, if you would like to see more content like this, you can subscribe to our Tech YouTube channel, or you can check out our other videos from before.